Welcome to the Rugby Obsession podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want more deep dives into the world of rugby.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to be talking about a pretty big talking point, I think, for Springbok fans.
Yeah.
The number 8 jersey.
Ooh, yeah.
With Jasper Wiese's unfortunate injury.
Big blow.
Huge blow. Yeah, he's out for the rest of the season with a neck injury that needs surgery.
Right.
So that immediately puts a question mark over who's going to step up for the July internationals against the Barbarians, Italy, and Georgia, and then, of course, leading into the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, big games.
Massive. Yeah, so we're going to look at the potential front runners for that jersey, some of the other contenders that are kind of in the mix, and then maybe some outside bets and some real wild cards as well.
I love a wild card.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I guess let's start with who you think are the front runners for that jersey.
Well, I think when you look at kind of the way Rassie's been selecting recently, Evan Roos has got to be right up there. He got starts against Wales and Portugal this year when Wise was unavailable. So
yeah,
he's obviously had some injury struggles, but he's come back into some really strong form for the Stormers. And I think the fact that the coaches have given him those opportunities shows that they really rate him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got that really dynamic edge to him.
For sure.
You know, that ability to break the line, and he's just got a real physicality about him when he carries the ball.
Yeah, I think he brings something a bit different to the other guys.
Yeah, and another name that's constantly in the mix at the moment is Cameron Hanekom.
Yeah, another big unit.
Huge. Yeah, he plays for the Bulls, and he's got that reputation as a real all-court kind of player, you know?
Yeah.
Strong in pretty much every area of the game.
Yeah, does all the basics well.
Yeah. And interestingly, Rassie has kind of hinted in the past that he maybe sees Hanekom as a future flanker.
Okay.
But with this gap at 8, I think it might be the perfect chance to give him a run there and see how he goes.
I think he could be a really good option there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's in the wider squad at the moment, so, you know, they're clearly thinking about him.
Definitely.
It's such a shame that we can't talk about El Railao as a front runner because his 10 tests at number 8 last year were just outstanding.
Yeah.
But that leg injury, unfortunately, puts him out until 2026.
Yeah, it's a big loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on then to some guys that are definitely in the mix, but maybe not quite front runners.
Yeah.
I guess Quagga Smith has got to be one of the first names that springs to mind.
Yeah, definitely, I think.
He started at 8 against Ireland in July.
He did, yeah.
And while he's often seen as that impact player off the bench, you know, part of the bomb squad.
Bomb squad, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got the experience and the ability to start if needed.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, there's the skipper, Sia Khaleesi.
Big man.
Yeah, 77 test caps.
Incredible.
Yeah, mainly at flank. But what's been really impressive this year is his form at number 8 for the Sharks.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
Yeah, he just seems to get better and better.
I think he's enjoying it over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you can't underestimate that leadership and experience either.
No, definitely not.
And it's worth noting that Italy had the lowest line-out success rate in the recent Six Nations.
Right.
So while we've got plenty of jumpers like Pieter-Steph du Toit and Ben-Jason Dixon, Khaleesi's actually been working on his line-out skills quite a bit for the Sharks this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just adds another layer to his potential selection at 8.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So those are the kind of front runners and the guys that are definitely in the mix, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's move on then to some of the outside bets.
All right. Let's do it.
Players that are maybe a bit further down the pecking order, but could still be in with a shout.
Yep.
Frank Horn for the Lions has been a really impressive performer for them.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him.
Yeah, he's uncapped at the moment, but the fact that he was invited to the recent alignment camp suggests that, you know, Rassie's keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, he's definitely on the radar.
Yeah, and then you've got the Dupree's brothers, Dan and Jean-Luc, playing their rugby over in England with Sale Sharks.
Yes, the Dupree's brothers.
They've both been around the Springbok setup before.
They have, yeah.
But we've seen recently that Rassie seems to prefer players that are playing domestically.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, so that might count against them, but Dan is probably the more out-and-out number 8 of the two.
Yeah.
While Jean-Luc offers that versatility of being able to cover lock as well.
Yeah, he's a good option to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on then to some of the real wild cards.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, these are the selections that would really raise some eyebrows. I think Marcel Coetzee has got to be up there.
Yeah, he's been in great form.
Outstanding form for the Bulls.
Yeah.
He's got 31 test caps to his name, but his last one was back in 2022.
Right.
And he wasn't part of that recent alignment camp, so that might suggest he's not really in Rassie's plans at the moment.
Yeah, maybe not.
Which is a shame because he's been playing so well.
Definitely.
And then there's Salimpilo Gumare.
Okay.
He's not a regular starter for the Bulls, but he has trained with the Springboks before, and he was invited to the alignment camp. So he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, he's on the radar.
And then what about Fepsi Buthelezi?
Oh, yeah.
He made his test debut against Portugal last year at number 6.
Yep.
And interestingly, Rassie kind of compared him to Khaleesi.
Really?
Yeah, which suggests that they maybe see him more as a long-term option on the flank rather than at number 8.
I see.
So yeah, moving on then to some players that probably have the slimmest chance of making the squad.
Okay.
Warno Augustus has been playing really well for Northampton Saints in England,
Yeah,
but he wasn't one of the overseas players invited to the alignment camp.
okay.
His move to Ulster next season might improve his chances, though, because he'll be playing in the URC.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then you've got Dion Forey, who's been in some Springbok camps. But he's mostly been playing flank for the Stormers since he came back from France.
Right.
Now, he did play quite a bit of 8 in France.
He did, yeah.
And he covered 8 off the bench in 1 test in 2023.
Okay.
But he's probably more likely to be a bomb squad option if he's selected.
Probably, yeah.
And then there are the Chituka brothers, Emmanuel and Vincent.
Oh, yes, the Chitukas.
They've both got South African passports and can play number 8.
Yep.
Emmanuel prefers it.
Right.
But their eligibility for selection is still a bit unclear.
Okay.
So yeah, moving on to some real wild shouts now.
The real long shots.
Yeah, Arnaud Botha has been playing well for Lyon in France.
He has, yeah.
But at his age, and with all the other talent around, I think it's unlikely he'll add to his 2 test caps.
Probably not.
And then there's Hanro Liebenberg, who's been a really consistent performer for Leicester in the Premiership for a number of seasons now.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really caught the eye of the selectors, and I don't think he will this year either. So there you have it. I think that's a pretty comprehensive look at all the potential number 8 options for the Springboks.
It's a lot to consider.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? The depth that we've got, even with a key player like Wise injured.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, who do you think Rassie should pick at number 8 for these upcoming Springbok games?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, head over to our social media channels and let us know your thoughts and opinions.
I'm keen to hear.
And if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Springboks selection dilemma, don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more in-depth rugby analysis.
Wait.
That was a pretty comprehensive look at the number 8 options for the Springboks.
Yeah.
It's clear that even with a key player injured, the depth in South African rugby is significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession podcast.
Thank you.
We look forward to you listening to our next episode.
See you then.